And there's our Dean. Dean Chapman, how are you?
Doing really well, Dinesh. How are you this afternoon?
We're all doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you. And I think our Consul General of Portugal in San Francisco is also on the line. Caríssima, temos que ver a sua cara, porque temos que ver a cara. Eu acho que vai aparecer em pouco. Portanto, I think that just about everyone who's supposed to be on the panel is here. We do have a couple other folks who will be joining a little bit later, as they have told us. So I'm going to take this off because we want to be true to our time frame. So we are at 12:03 Pacific Standard Time. So we'll start this. Boa tarde a todos. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, one and all, who are joining us, be it on the webinar and on those who are joining us through the social media platforms. Welcome. Welcome to those joining us locally throughout the Central Valley and the state of California. Joining us in various parts of the US, we have people participating from Hawaii to Massachusetts, in Canada, from Toronto to Vancouver. In Brazil, we have folks from mainland Portugal, and of course, from various islands, at least 3 different islands in the Azores. So thanks to all the various government entities who have taken time to be present for this premiere, as well as colleagues from the 3 colleges that house PBBI, the College of Arts and Humanities, College of Social Science, and the Jordan College of Agricultural Science and Technology, our staff, our most amazing students, of course, and we welcome community leaders and, of course, some of our most awesome interviewees. A bit of background about the Portuguese American Oral History Project at Fresno State. We have 2 projects going on simultaneously, one with the College of Social Science, collecting audio recordings from the Portuguese American community. These oral histories began with an extensive seminar led by then Dean Dr. Michelle Denbesti. And since then, we have collected over 25 recordings that are being transcribed and in the process of being archived at the Portuguese American Oral History Project at the Henry Madden Library, thanks to the vision, the work, and the excitement of Dean Del Rita Hornbuckle and her amazing team as well. The pandemic hit our projects as it hit everything else in our community, with community members, organizations, and with high school students. These projects had to go on standby, but we have continued with collecting oral histories through Zoom, which included the history of the Portuguese radio in California, a 100-year history, which we've done 5 different sessions. Once we can all gather in person, hopefully we will be sponsoring an event with an exhibit of all these oral histories that were done, the audio files. The other project is the video, and I should say videos because we want this to be the first of many, with the Media Communication and Journalism Department, MCJ, from the College of Arts and Humanities. Again, with the pandemic, we have taken a bit of a hit on our schedule, but we are pleased to have done many of the interviews on our original list that allowed us, with the leadership of Doctors Candace, Egan, and Kelly Mccoy, and a list of very, very talented students, to put forth the documentary you're about to see. Plus, all of these interviews in its entirety are transcribed and will be part of the collection that I mentioned in our library. And we hope to continue collecting these stories, maybe as soon as the fall of 2021 in person. And we will see, however, if we cannot, we'll continue them with the Zoom as much as we can also. Totally, I should say that in a year, basically 1 year, because the pandemic hit in March. As far as live, it was 1 year. As you know, PBBI was launched in February of 2019. But including some of the efforts that we've made since the pandemic, we've been able to collect over 45 oral histories. And I think that's an accomplishment, thanks to all the community leaders and thanks to everyone who has put forth an effort into this. But enough of an explanation. We're here to see the documentary and afterwards to hear from our team and our interviewees. And that could be here today, some could not, unfortunately. First, let me thank a few of the entities that are here today and ask them for some brief words to greet all of you who are joining us on Zoom and all of you who are joining us on social media. And I'm not going to give any long, brief descriptions, because I want to hear from all of us, want to hear from all of you and to see our documentary. So our interim president, Saul Jimenez Sandoval, a very strong supporter of all PBBI projects, could not be here today due to his schedule, but we are pleased to have Dr. Honora Chapman, who's the interim dean for the College of Arts and Humanities. Welcome everyone on behalf of the California State University, Fresno, on behalf of our administration, our faculty, our staff, and certainly our amazing over 25,000 students. Ladies and gentlemen, Dean Chapman.
Thank you so much, Dinesh, and thank you all for joining us this afternoon. We're so grateful to FLAD for supporting the efforts of PBBI and Dinesh's remarkable leadership. We also appreciate the community's support for PBBI. I see my colleagues, Interim Associate Dean Sergio Laporta on this call, who is so proud of this work through PBBI, as well as Kelly Mccoy and Candace Egan, who were directly involved in the creation of these stories. And you should know that the purpose of the entire California State University system is to give our students a voice to speak their truth so that they can build a life for themselves and their families. And what's so beautiful about this oral history project writ large throughout the colleges is that we're collecting, preserving the voices of people along the 99 corridor who helped build this entire civilization here that's based on agriculture. And central to that history are the Portuguese and Portuguese Azorians who came here and built this agricultural wonder that we have. The most productive land in the world, in no small part, thanks to the Portuguese community. So we welcome you. We thank you for all your efforts to preserve the stories and for creating the stories that are being preserved. And we look forward to engaging with you in the future. And I can't wait to see the documentary. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Chapman. Thank you for your excitement, and thank you for your guidance and your vision and your support. We want to introduce and representing the government of the Azores, the autonomous government of the Azores, Director José Andrade, who is the Director of Azorian Communities. É com muito gosto que temos conosco o Diretor Regional das Comunidades, amigo de há muitos anos, Dr. José Andrade.
Good afternoon from the Azores. It is a pleasure and an honor to participate in this worldwide presentation of Untold Stories. Just a few words to greet the authorities, and I would like to acknowledge the importance of this event. But we have a common mission to contribute to preserving our cultural identity in North America without forgetting the Portuguese language. And I must set an example. So I will now speak in Portuguese. E quero, se me permitem, saudar os congressistas Jim Costa e David Nunes, a senhora Cônsul-Geral de Portugal em São Francisco, a senhora Presidente da Fundação Luso-Americana para o Desenvolvimento e os representantes da California State University em Fresno que acompanham esta sessão. Mas permitam-me uma saudação muito especial ao nosso conterrâneo e estimado amigo, professor Dinis Borges, enquanto fundador e diretor do PBBI, por uma razão pessoal e por uma razão institucional. Pessoalmente, Dinis Borges tem sido, mais do que um cônsul honorário, um verdadeiro embaixador da cultura açoriana no grande estado da Califórnia. Institucionalmente, ele é o mentor e o dinamizador deste importante instituto da Fresno State, que desenvolve um trabalho absolutamente exemplar para a afirmação e a valorização dos portugueses além fronteiras. O documentário Untold Stories, que teremos agora a oportunidade e o privilégio de conhecer, É mais uma prova de que valeu a pena criar e de que vale a pena prosseguir a missão patriótica deste seu instituto. Com esta palavra de merecida homenagem ao nosso dinâmico anfitrião, aproveito para cumprimentar todos os portugueses, maioritariamente dos Açores, que honram a nossa terra no estado da Califórnia. Temos uma diferença de 7 horas e uma distância de 8.000 quilómetros, mas estamos juntos e empenhados na defesa da nossa identidade comum. Muito obrigado pelo vosso trabalho.
Muito obrigado, Sr. Diretor Regional. Obrigadíssimo. Thank you so much to the Regional Director of Azorian Communities, José Andrade. We're going to have next, representing, of course, our sponsor and major donor in the last 2 years of all the events that PBBI has put forth and there have been quite a few. It's been a 24, as my wife tells me, it's a 24/7 project for you. And it has been a 24/7. I find about a little bit of time for her. And she's okay with that because then I'm not bothering her all the other times. But indeed, it has been quite a few projects that we've put together in the last 2 years, and we've been able to do it only because of the commitment, of course, of the university, of the community, but certainly of the Luso American Development Foundation, FLAD. So we thank Dr. Hita Fadden, who we had the pleasure of having here in the fall of 2019 for a wonderful lecture that we all enjoyed tremendously and visited several parts of Fresno State. We hope to have her back, if not next semester, for sure, spring of 2021. Here's our invitation once again. And so please put it on your calendar. And again, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Hita Fadden, President of the Executive Council of the Luso American Development Foundation, FLAD. Thank you so much for joining us. I know that you're very busy and we appreciate the time.
Obrigada, Dinis. Good afternoon. Hello, everyone. Dear all colleagues and friends, thank you for the invitation. At FLAD, we aim to promote the development of Portugal through the cooperation with the United States. We work to strengthen the ties between our two countries, engaging with its people and institutions. One of our priorities is to promote Portuguese cultural and heritage in the United States. At the same time, to enhance the importance of the transatlantic relationship to both our countries. It is clear to me that the community of Americans of Portuguese descent is a key partner to achieve this goal. This is why FLAD has followed and supported the work of PBBI since its establishment. The Oral History Project is particularly relevant. It contains important documentation that helps us write the history of Portuguese immigration to California, and it highlights the importance of the Azorean diaspora in this history. Through this series, PBBI helps keep Portuguese identity, values, and culture alive in the United States. In 2019, as Denise was saying, as I made my first visit to the West Coast of the United States as FLAD's president, I had the opportunity to visit Fresno State and watch some of these stories. For me, as Portuguese, they were particularly moving. I take pride in the courage and determination of all the hardworking Portuguese men and women that have contributed to the prosperity of the country, both in private and public sectors, while keeping alive the Portuguese culture in their families. All these stories tell a tale of social inclusion and friendship between two countries. In 2021, decades, even in some cases more than a century, after the arrival of these Portuguese immigrants to the United States, Americans of Portuguese descent keep alive the values and resilience of their ancestors. Today, this is done in a new context. The new generation of Portuguese Americans are already born integrated into the American society. These create unique opportunities for cooperation between our countries in areas such as education, science, trade, cultural, and of course, security and defense. FLAD is committed to further such cooperation. I would stress two aspects of our action that can be understood in this light. First, our focus in education, in special our study abroad program. Through CIPAN, the Study in Portugal network, many American university students come each year to study in Portugal. This program has also included the cooperation between Fresno State and the Azores University that we hope may be enhanced in the future and extended to other universities in the California State University system. On the other hand, FLAG is committed to a greater political representation of the Portuguese American community. We are aware of the role of Fresno State in this. We have seen an increased number of Portuguese Americans elected to public office. As you know, 3 members of the US Congress of Portuguese descent are from Central Valley: Jim Costa, Devi Nunes, and David Valadão. And they are all enthusiastic about PBBI's activities towards the empowerment of the community. Through a unique closeness to the community, you have done a great work in promoting the engagement of Portuguese Americans of all ages, especially the younger generation. I am certain that this new generation will be inspired by the stories of their ancestors told in this documentary. And I congratulate Denis Borges for his vision and drive coordinating this important project. Thank you. Muito obrigada a todos.
Nós agradecemos, muito obrigado. Thank you so much, President Rita Faden. And I see Congressman Jim Costa has joined us. He has a background. He looks like he's just about to jump off somewhere. So I think he's able to unmute, and we'd love to hear from you, Congressman Costa, before we begin the presentation of the documentary, because we have, I know that you're in a limited schedule, and the documentary is about 25 minutes or so. So, Congressman Costa, thanks for joining us.
Well, actually, I was on before, but the link didn't allow me to participate. But I want to thank you, Mimig, Denise Borges, and all of those who are participating today. The partnership that we have created, PBBI, with our universities, with Ita Faden, with FLAG. Thank you for your kind words. It's good to see you. I was hoping they'll be there this spring, but I'm not so sure that the COVID's going to allow that. But clearly, we make the best we can under the circumstances. But this partnership is so important, I believe, because it really unites the Portuguese communities. And José Eduardo from the Azores, please give me my very bestest for the communities there and the islands that we love. The partnership, though, happens and it exists because of all of our collective efforts, and that cannot be overstated. This, I think, over the last several years has proven to be very important for Portuguese communities, not only in the United States, but specifically in California. Reuniting the partnership with the University of the Azores, with FLAG's support is so critical. And we have a proposal there, and I want to thank you for your continued consideration. Obviously, it has all of our support, and anything I can do to enhance and to further that along, please let me know, Ita, for your good work. And please tell them all I said hello. This video is just but part of the work that we are dedicating ourselves to further increasing the ties with my colleagues. As a member of the Portuguese caucus, with my colleagues, Congressman Nunes and Valadão, I see their representatives are participating as well. We work together on those Portuguese American relations at the highest levels. And that's because the long history of Portugal and the United States goes back to the very founding of our country. And so we want to continue to build on that. And I want to do everything I possibly can, Denise, to offer my good services and that of the Portuguese caucus to do everything we can to enhance this partnership. So with that, let me say thank you. I've got to go through airport security. Actually, I have a number of other background filters here. I would put that on.
Oh, I like that one.
You like that one?
I love that one.
And but it's and I've got to get one of the islands. I don't have one of that, but I have many beautiful pictures of the islands. I'll make sure that I get them in my background scene. And I love your background scene, Rita, because I've had many good meetings there over the years, and we look forward to getting together as soon as the COVID passes and it allows us to meet safely. But anyway, thank you so very much, and I'll look forward to continuing to participate. Once I get through security, I'll see if I can come back on.
Sure. Thank you so much. If not, we'll send you the link so you can see you're one of the stars of the of this show. So we need to have you back on if you can. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Congressman Jim Costa. Thank you. Appreciate it. And right before we turn on, and hopefully technology will allow everything to work perfect. I'm always leery of everything when it comes to that aspect, but we'll do the best we can. I'd like to invite the Honorable Consul General of Portugal in San Francisco, our good friend, Dr. Maria João Lopes Cardoso, for a few words as well. Thank you so much for joining us. I know she has been going from Zoom to Zoom to Zoom, but we appreciate your presence.
Good morning or good afternoon all. Denise, thank you so much for inviting me and for being able to participate. Senhora Diretor Regional, Dr. José Andrade, Senhora Presidente da FLAD, Dra. Rita Faden, our Congressman has left. I was, what can I say? You have already mentioned the importance of the Portuguese community here in California and in the United States as well. You probably know over 5 million Portuguese live abroad, of which about only 2.3 million were actually born in Portugal. The Portuguese diaspora is everybody, is all those that have Portuguese ancestry and who have kept our culture and our traditions alive. In fact, it's most of you who are attending this webinar. And please remain assured, we are really, really proud of you. And we consider you our best ambassadors. And I'm a diplomat, so you know, I can say that you're our best ambassadors. I've been here almost for 4 years, and I'm still, it's incredible what this community has done for themselves and for our relations with the United States. Several publications exist on the Portuguese in agriculture, Portuguese, the Portuguese whalers. There's another book now published by a member of our community just recently called Portuguese in California. And but the work that our honorary consul and director of the Portuguese Beyond Borders Institute has done, Professor Dinis Borges, is incredible in the sense that he has given voice to these ancestors, and he knows I'm really proud, and I hope I'll be able to watch this, to leave these, to record all the oral stories of people who are slowly leaving us, because some of the members of our community are already old, and so through them we will be able to preserve a part of the history, and which is priceless. And this corridor 99 is one of my favorite road trips. Now I've been locked at home for 1 year, but you know, Highway 99 is all, you know, in my first 3 years in San Francisco, you could always find me traveling along the 99, or sometimes across from the 99 to the 5 to in spring to watch the almond blossoms. And so I'm looking forward to this documentary, and I'm really excited about this. And so, Denise, thank you so much for all your efforts. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your kind words. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let's let the show begin. Let's see if I can do this right. If I can't, Professor Candace Egan will certainly hit me a couple of times. Next time she sees me, it's not abuse, it's just normal. It should be that way if you mess up. Years ago, as I get this ready, years ago, the editor of the Jornal Portuguese, Alberto Lemos, who some of you might remember, was interviewed by Diário de Notícias, which is at one time was and still is a very important newspaper in Portugal. At that time, it was the main newspaper. This was in the late 1980s, early 1980s. And someone asked him, what do you do as an editor? And he says, well, besides turning on the lights and turning off the lights and sweeping the floor and, paying the bills and doing this and doing that, I also, edit the newspaper. And I kind of, that's me at PBBI. I'm going to do technology and all that I can. So let's relax, sit back, and let's see if this works. And hopefully it will. That's not gonna be. Let me stop that one and start again. And it is music, and we have this on. We see it, do we not? Do we see a bunch of ships?
Yes.
Correct. Thank you so much. Okay, enjoy it. Here we go. California, a land that has long captured the hearts and imaginations of those yearning for a better life, including countless immigrants from around the world. Immigrants from Portugal and their descendants are among those who make up the state's rich cultural tapestry. About 350,000 Californians identify as being of Portuguese descent. Most are from the Azores. Many have settled in cities and towns along the Highway 99 corridor of the Central Valley, a sprawling farming region 450 miles long. Despite the important contributions Portuguese Americans from the Central Valley have made locally and nationally, little is known about them.
Azoreans had started settling here in the Central Valley in the 1870s. They started out as sheep herders. They developed a good reputation for being steady and willing to stay out in the field with sheep. And so they were hired first in these large ranches out by Lemoore. And then, of course, they sent letters home and told of the opportunities here. And more of them came and started settling in the area.
There were two waves of Portuguese immigration to the United States. The first was in the late 1800s to the 1920s and was made up of individuals and families seeking better opportunities in America. The second wave followed the eruption of the volcano on the island of Faial in the Azores in 1958. John F. Kennedy, then a senator from Massachusetts, co-sponsored the Azorean Refugee Act, making it possible for almost 5,000 displaced Portuguese citizens to come to the United States. The Family Reunification Act of the 1960s allowed those who had come either at the beginning of the century or those who came post Capelinhos volcano in the late 50s to bring forth their families, their siblings, their mom, their dad. And that was the last exodus from the 1960s, early 1960s, until basically about 1976 to 1980.
When we left our island of Flores, there was no electricity at all on the island. There was no running water in any house. There were no roads, no cars. My brothers and sisters grew up reading and learning to read by an oil lamp, and this is in my lifetime. And so life was very difficult and challenging.
It was just subsistence living. So you had a good living in that it's a very fertile place, very green place. There's fish in the ocean and things grow year round. But that's all you had, and you were very isolated. And so this area here in the San Joaquin Valley was a great area to come to. Based on, it was very similar to what you had in the Azores in terms of fertile land, and you could have animals and grow crops.
I think we've made some contributions in certain industries more than others. And of course, in the San Joaquin Valley in agriculture, in the dairy industry, according to all data that has been published throughout the years, in the 1970s especially, the Portuguese controlled about half of the dairy products that were being manufactured.
Of course, when they immigrated and they didn't speak the language, the opportunity for them was to all milk cows. So the Portuguese people, whether they were cow people in their homeland, when they got here, they milked cows by hand, and that was their opportunity to get started in to get jobs and then to start their own businesses.
Well, my dad couldn't speak English, and we pretty much started doing this, taking the jobs that, Portuguese immigrants, they were offered to. Milking cows, working the dairies, farms, and that's on my dad. It was a big change for him also to take, start working the dairy. And he probably did some of that when he was really young in the Azores, but he had to adapt, to that again.
I do remember my brothers are very involved in, helping to milk and feed calves and, taking hay to the cattle and all that kind of thing.
My father went to milk cows at first. He had never, I don't know that he had touched a cow in the Azores, but he went to milk cows for about 3 months.
We all grew up working here on the farm from a young age. I don't know exactly when. I estimate it somewhere between first grade and third grade, maybe, before school, after school, weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, summers. We worked all the time.
And so, it's the story of the immigrant farmer that is so, I think, typical from so many of the Azoreans who chose to come to the valley with really nothing more than the clothes on their back and a strong work ethic and a willing to do their best. And certainly my grandparents and my parents reflect that dream.
Language played a role, still plays an important role. In the beginning, obviously, it was a way for people to communicate with each other. They got together because of the language. It was a way to communicate and to keep the language alive.
There was no way to lose the primary language. It was no way. So we kept the language because in the house we always speak Portuguese. My husband didn't speak another language, so we had to speak Portuguese. So my parents came over from Azores over here to live with me. Then afterwards, they didn't speak English either. And my daughters, we kept, and it's a habit. My daughters and I, we never, even though I speak English now, my daughters never speak Portuguese, English with us. Never. It's a habit.
So when I was growing up, my mom and dad were very adamant that we were going to continue to speak Portuguese. So at home we spoke Portuguese, and every day after school, my mom would sit us down at the kitchen table and we had our Portuguese lessons. So she had brought books from the Azores, and so we actually had lessons in Portuguese.
I kind of like my language. I think I think it's a very rich language. You know what I mean? The Spanish might be a little bit more suave, a little bit more romantic, because Portuguese is a little bit stronger. Like we say, porta, fecha a porta, close the door. Spanish, cierra la puerta, puerta. Everything is very soft, very nice, cierra la puerta.
Portuguese language radio was a very important bond between the communities. And it was our way to connect, also to keep on having contact with the language. I'm a firm believer that if we did not have Portuguese language in the programs, radio programs, in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, and even through the 90s, we would not have folks speaking Portuguese that they speak today.
The Portuguese community depended on radio for the news. I used to go to Portugal and go from village to village with a small tape recorder to record messages from the people in Azores to the people here in the United States.
In those days, there was a lot of dairies, and they needed milkers, they needed people to work the land or to take care of the dairy. So I would advertise, not charge, it was free, but this was service to the community, right? A dairyman calls me, and I need a milker, I need a herdsman, I need this, I need that. Okay, give me the phone number, and then I go in Portuguese, hey, we need it. I got hundreds, thousands over these years, thousands of jobs just.
And sometimes people will pass away and they didn't have money. I would ask donations. We help in everything, not just me, all the other colleagues who did that. We help people so much.
I charge the sponsors for my radio program, but the services to the people were free. But they gave me other service. For instance, they would cook, they would give me soup, they would give me fried fish, linguiça, all these Portuguese things. So it was kind of a mutual exchange.
There was a radio program here in Turlock, and it's a great story that I learned a lot from. And Mr. Mendonça is the one who spoke in the radio. And the name of the program was Franklin Speaking. His name was Frank. I was with my aunt at her house, and she had the radio on all the time. And this gentleman is speaking. I said, Tia Aurea, who is this man? Oh, he speaks Portuguese very well, and he's got a radio program, and we all listen to it. And I came from Portugal. You didn't speak in a radio unless you were a professional. I said, Tia Aurea, but he doesn't speak well enough to speak in the radio. And she says, well, he speaks very well. He taught me English. I got my citizenship paper so I could bring you here, and he speaks very well.
So the church was part of everyone's upbringing. You were Catholic, and that's just what you were.
Yeah, the church definitely plays into the heritage, definitely. Big influence. It would be hard to be Portuguese and not be Catholic and put all the pieces together.
I was brought up going to church every Sunday, and we baptized all our kids, and my son still goes. I don't think my daughters go. See, they already got a little, but that helps. A base of a foundation of something that you have to believe in.
When they came here, in a land that was different, in a land that had many different religions, mainly Christian, but different denominations other than Catholic, what could you keep that was yours, your faith?
My parents thought it was important for me to maintain some Portuguese identity. I'd learned to speak Portuguese in my paternal grandmother's home. She spoke Portuguese in the home, and we would attend Portuguese Holy Ghost celebrations.
This idea of celebrating Queen Isabel of Portugal and what she did during a very tough time for Portugal, which was a famine, which was that she sold the jewels of the crown to feed the poor. This idea that we have a responsibility for our fellow human being, independently of one's ideology, is the basis of the Holy Ghost fetish. And if the Azorians ever lose that in California, they lose who they are.
I mean, in this culture, that you have here in the Valley, it's an interesting microculture that you have, because you have these Portuguese halls that are mainly built around religious festivals. But, these date back to the late 1800s, early 1900s, and they're all over the Valley here. I mean, nearly every community has one, and they're still going today.
Some of my best recollections now, even as a teenager, was sitting at the Portuguese festivals underneath a shade tree, and my dad talking with his friends, about things that they missed, the old countries.
There's always been an ethnic pride about the Azores and about about those islands. And I think it's even bigger with those who are of Azorean ancestry than those who are Portuguese. People normally say I'm Portuguese, but they sometimes will follow up, I'm Portuguese from the Azores, or I'm Portuguese, or I'm from das Ilhas, which literally translates from the islands.
I go to the Azores every year. I love the Azores. I love Portugal. I guess the way I describe it, it's my biological mother gave me life. And I look at America as being my stepmother that opened me with open arms, that treated me like one of its own.
You know, they're small islands, so everybody knows everybody. And a lot of, especially in our village, people remember us, you know, my parents especially. And that was what touched me the most. People still came and just hugged us and just saw us yesterday, you know.
I've been going since that first initial trip about 25 years ago when I first savored the lapish. I'll never forget that. To just about every year going there. My mother had 3 sisters who never left the islands, so their children basically all stayed there, so I have a lot of first cousins. I'm in contact with them all the time.
I think Portuguese have a very strong family commitment and family ties. And matter of fact, I've gone back to the Azores several times. My children have gone back. I want to make sure my children go back because I want that family connection.
So what I've noticed is our friends and family that go back to the old country and actually firsthand witness the culture and the traditions and things, they come back just really excited about the culture. And we even have cousins who their kids, who are our kids' ages, come back and they want to learn the language and they want to do everything Portuguese because they've actually gone back and witnessed firsthand. Since we haven't been back there, we kind of have a little bit less of an excitement about the culture than if we had gone back. So someday when we go back, we will probably come back and, you know, be on fire.
I am very proud of the Portuguese. I'm very proud of what they have done, their work, their sense of community, the sense of helping. They always want to help someone.
I think of being Portuguese as being part of one of the pillars that holds me up, I guess. So I think of myself as American. I think of myself as a Californian. I think of myself as a Catholic. I think of myself as a dairyman. I think of myself as Portuguese. So it's part of that whole structure that holds up my identity.
I might just say I'm Portuguese. I don't even say I'm Portuguese American. I might say to somebody, I was born in the Azores, I can be an American citizen. And I'm very proud of that.
I mean, just, I have the best of both worlds, you know. I was born Portuguese, so it's great, you know, feels great being Portuguese, and here I am, I'm American, I'm a citizen of this great country, you know.
I have had such a blessed life, and really, that is in part to the sacrifice that my parents made. I can't imagine leaving a world that you know for a world that you don't know. Thousands of miles, not knowing the language, not knowing what's going to come your way. And why are you doing it? You're doing it for the better life of your children. So I just will be eternally, forever grateful to my parents for giving me the opportunity to live in this wonderful world in between these 2 worlds that I live in.
The central question has always come back to me. What would my life have been like if it were not for the incredible courage of my grandparents to be real risk takers? I mean, we think about how, you know, our country has been so fortunate to have so many risk takers. And my grandparents were a part of those risk takers. I know my life would have been much different If my grandparents had not chose to take that risk and come to the New World, to America, to have a better life for themselves and for their children.
And the congressman always gets me emotional. I always I can't watch that last part because I get the same tears in my eyes that he gets in his. So that is our first project. I hope all of you enjoyed it. It is only one of several, as we've mentioned. Hopefully we'll continue to get funding to continue to work on these. There's many other projects and many other folks that we need to interview. And we had plans to interview 3 or 4 more, but for this first part, but it didn't happen because of the pandemic. However, we hope that all of you have enjoyed it as much as we have enjoyed putting it together. And so I'd like to ask Professors Kelly Mccoy and Candace Egan to give me a little bit. We'll start with Kelly, a little bit about your thoughts on this. I know that you have been you were raised here in the Valley, so you've heard of what it's like being Portuguese, or you've heard of the Portuguese community because of your ties to Hanford. But tell me a little bit from someone from the outside, what is your take after this project of the last year or so?
Absolutely. I grew up in Hanford, went to catechism classes, regular classes in school alongside Portuguese American kids. In fact, one of the interviewees, Roland Rosa, was a classmate of mine, and his brother Noel graduated with my youngest sister, but didn't really know much about Portuguese culture. And this documentary gave me an opportunity to kind of fill in those blanks, not only for myself, but I think through the work of the documentary, as well as other things that PBBI is doing, is filling in those important blanks for all Californians who are not Portuguese American and are not aware of the fantastic contributions that they've made across the board in a number of different industries. And so for me personally, I have to say that this project was the most interesting, most informative, and oftentimes most deeply inspiring projects I could have ever had the good fortune of working on. In fact, I've often characterized it as a blessing, to have interviewed people like Maria and Helder and the judge. I see you here. For you to have opened your homes and shared your stories with us, just immensely moving. And I want to thank you for doing that. And I want to thank FLAD for your support of projects like this. And lastly, the 3 colleges that were involved, good to see you, Dean Chapman, and to be able to work alongside Denise and Candace
and to work alongside our kids from MCJ, who were our camera people and our editors. This has just been a fantastic opportunity. So thank you to all.
I guess I'll step in from Kelly. It's been awesome being a part of this project. I've started doing oral histories, I'm 6, 7, 8 years ago, and I originally was a journalist. Then I got into more production. And so I love doing oral histories because you get to learn so much from these first person accounts. And I grew up here and I learned a whole lot that I didn't know and didn't appreciate and probably was seeing every day, but hadn't really understood it, and actually now realize how many friends and colleagues I have that are Portuguese American. Even one of my colleagues who's back in the Midwest has roots back here. And so when he learned I was doing this, he was very pleased and excited. So it's been very gratifying and just enjoyable. And I love working this little trio of folks we have here, Kelly, Denise, and myself. It's a great collaborative team. And I am so looking forward to continuing on future things. I know Denise has lots of cool ideas. We throw in a couple suggestions here and there, but I'm very much looking forward to where we go next. Thank you.
Thank you. And Jake, on behalf of Congressman Nunes, I'd like to hear a couple of thoughts from you.
Yeah, first off, thanks again for the invitation to be a part of this. Obviously, the congressman was a part of this program, and because he is Portuguese American, the work at PBBI is very close to his heart, and he cares deeply about the work that is happening, and really the special relationship between Portuguese Americans, the Azores, the Portuguese community, and the Central Valley and California as a whole. So, I mean, it was incredible to watch. Growing up in the Valley, experiencing firsthand a lot of my friends who are Portuguese Americans and kind of being a part of the culture that way. And now it's an honor to work for Portuguese American in Congress. And so again, on behalf of the congressman, just thank you for the invitation, for all of your work here. And I know he's very much looking forward to watching this as well. So thank you.
Thanks. And Brendan, unfortunately, the pandemic hit and we couldn't record Congressman Valadao, who was just elected, re-elected again after a little bit of intermission. But thanks for joining us, and thanks for joining us on behalf of the Congressman Valadao.
Thank you so much for inviting our office to today's screening, and thank you so much to all the panelists for sharing with us today. Congressman David Valadao is extremely proud of the work PBBI is putting on, and would love to take part in future projects and give his story as well. But coming from someone who isn't of Portuguese descent, this is an extremely helpful documentary, and I feel I learned a lot today, and there's a lot to be proud of in Portuguese history. I'd also like to announce that Congressman David Valadao will be rejoining the American Portuguese caucus as a co-chair, so he's very proud to get back to work there, and he's glad to be back in office, and thank you so much for having us here today.
Thank you, Brian. That's great news. Thank you. And he's actually in our list. He's been in our list. We just need to get away now to after the pandemic, and hopefully late summer, early fall, we can do that. And I'd like to hear from some of our, as we call them, subjects, some of the ones that, as Kelly put it, and Professor Candace as well, both professors put it, that welcomed us into their homes, and we messed up their lives for a few hours there, and what are your thoughts on it? Obviously, I just want to make sure that everyone that is following us understands that most of the interviews were 35, 40 minutes long. These are just excerpts, to tell a story. And all of the interviews are going to be archived in their integrity. I mean, they're all totally have been, thanks to all the work that has been done by MCJ. They're all transcribed and they'll be put forth in our oral history archive, which we are creating a website through the library where folks will be able to hear the interviews in their entirety. Okay, but this, and hopefully when we do other documentaries on other thematic units, that's one of our projects that will use some of these subjects again, because there was lots of other information that they gave us that certainly can be used. But I'd like to hear from some of you. I know the Congressman is still on. I know Maria Hortensia is here. I know Elder's here, and Judge. Congressman, you have to catch a plane, so tell us.
Yes, can you hear me?
We can.
I just want to once again thank everybody for their participation. We're excited to have our friend Congressman David Valadao back. We have our newest member of the Portuguese caucus, the first woman ever elected to Congress, Lori Trejan, who could not be a part of this, but she asked me to give her best wishes. And I understand that our good friend, former Assemblyman Rusty Reyes, his daughter, is on, and she is keeping that tradition going. She's the first Portuguese woman elected to be the president of the University of Southern California, USC. And she did an internship this last fall in the Azores Islands as a part of the Portuguese Azorean government in Ponta Delgada, a 3-month experience. And so she may soon be one of our new, who knows, elected officials. And I see Miguel Vaz is on as well. Miguel, it's good to always see you and our FLOG team with Rita. And we can't thank you enough. But I'm going to have to get on this airplane to vamos pa casa, and then vamos pa cama.
And you're, yeah, and when you get home, I know you'll be able to see it again. Your thoughts on the documentary? I hope you made us cry, so I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Well, you know, as I said, our ties between Portuguese Americans and our Portuguese roots are strong and deep. And I think the piece that you did, that we all saw, is a example of that deep feelings. And it's interesting because whether, as some of our friends, the Machados and others that actually immigrated to this country, or some who are first and second generation, I think when Rita and I have discussed this, and Miguel, even in the second generation and the third generation, Alexis Reyes is third generation, and she still wanted to go back and spend a semester in the Azores to learn of her roots and to learn the language and the culture. So I think that this video is a testament to those deep ties that transcend time. And that's why FLOG is so important with our partnership with PBBI to maintain and to continue those partnerships, regardless of the generations that we reflect. So I just want to thank you all, and
thank you.
I will get on my airplane, and we will see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. A few others. Maria Hortensia, any thoughts? You were one of our subjects, and so your thoughts on what you've seen, and thank you for allowing us to have you as part of our project.
Yes, I'm honored to be part of this outstanding group. I would like to begin by thanking you, Professor Denise Borges, for the outstanding work that you have done for the Portuguese community and American community, and for keeping the Portuguese language and culture alive. We owe it to you. This was wonderful. I'm honored to be part of this documentary. These are great people. There's a lot of stories out there like these, and it was fun. I thank Fresno State for coming to Turlock to talk to me. A special thank you to FLOG for supporting these events, the PBI, and it's a pleasure. I great stories, just touching. It just touches your heart. So thank you very much.
And Judge Silveira, I don't know, you're on mute, so we're going to have to unmute you. I can't from here, but I think you figured that one out already. There you are. There you are. There you are. Thank you.
Well, I want to congratulate you on this documentary that we've just viewed. It's very well done. I was quite impressed with your panelists with all parts of the program. And I want to say that you've inspired me to finish something that I started doing quite a while ago, which is writing a short history of my family here in California and their roots in the Azores.
Thank you. I don't know if I've inspired you. You've inspired me for many years. So it's about time I give you back some inspiration, I guess. Thank you so much. You've been an inspiration to me and to many, many, many Portuguese Americans throughout the Valley. Well, look who's I
can't hear anyone. So
we can hear you, Congressman not Costa, Congressman
what
Valadão.
are they saying?
Yeah, go ahead. I got the earphones on. Talk.
And we can see you.
Go ahead,
Okay.
talk.
Oh, I see. There's a.
Yeah,
Denise, talk. They can hear you through here.
Oh, they can't. Hey, Steve,
Yes.
how are you doing?
Sure.
Who says there's no bipartisanship? Look at that.
Well, we're bipartisan.
I
We
mean,
both fly United.
okay, we need pictures of this because there is bipartisanship in the Portuguese community, and there certainly is, huh?
Yeah. Anyway, there's Aretha Flag and Miguel
welcome,
and
welcome,
Silveira
David.
was on. And
Well, nice to see you, Denise. I apologize. I've got two calls going on at the same time, so I got one on this phone and this one.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you for showing up, and Brandon did well. Thank you. Thank you. Take care.
Nice.
And Elder.
Oh, Denise, great job. Fantastic job. Well, thank you very much for that. I'm so honored and humbled to be part of this program, this series. I'm a new immigrant. I mean, been here since 1975. And I just give thanks all the time to the ones that came in the first wave and second wave that laid the groundwork for this great community and allowed me, me to succeed today. Without that, I probably wouldn't be here today. I probably went to Fresno State and got my degree there. Those are the true trailblazers, Portuguese trailblazers, and always think about it and thank them for that. Again, thank you very much. Thanks, Fresno State, for being part of this great program, and thank you.
We thank you. Thank you for your support all these years as well. With the exchange program, for those of you who don't know, Elder Dominguez has been the very first support that we got from FLAT. He matched it for the exchange program to the Azores, and that has allowed this to continue all of these years. Thank you so much, Elder. And so we're about at the end of our program. I'd like to hear from anybody else who would like to add anything else. I don't know if Dr. Hita Fadden would like to add, or the Consul General after watching it, what your thoughts are on it. Good thoughts. If it's criticism, we don't. No, I'm just kidding. It can be either way. But thank you all again. Thanks to it's never enough to thank FLAT and to thank all of our subjects. To thank the work of my esteemed colleagues. To thank the leadership at the university also for allowing us to do this. We have all three deans are magnificent, and the interim associate dean as well. Sergio has been wonderful working with a lot of new projects that we're putting together at PBBI. Thanks to him as well, and of course our president Saul Jimenez Sandoval, our interim president. Dr. Hita Fadden.
Thank you, Denise. I would just like to congratulate you and the team that has made these videos, because it's very interesting. It's very well done. I think I have had the opportunity to see some of these interviews, and it's, as I've said, it's very moving to see the stories and the connections that people maintain and continue to feel with Portugal, and in this case, especially with the Azores, of course. And that is a connection that we at FLAD treasure, and we will continue to work to maintain that link. And I am also able to announce today that we have decided to continue funding the PBBI. So I hope we will be able to see in the future. Thank you, Jim. we will be able to see in the future more developments of this project and more stories like this. Thank you all, and thank you, Denise.
Thank you so much. And honorary consul, you'll be honorable consul. I'm the honorary. You know, let's not get that one confused. You're the master. You're the leader. You're the boss. So honorable consul general, our good friend Maria João. Any thoughts from you as well as we end?
Women always rule, Denise. So
I've known that for a very long time. I've known that from my grandmother.
Yes, with whom you look with whom you have great affinity and look like. I saw the picture. No, Denise, thank you so much. Just to congratulate you as well. This news that FLAD will pursue supporting PBBI is wonderful news. Thank you to FLAD and congratulations to you. And so I just want to see more and more of these interviews. I love this, and I think this has, as I said, it's priceless. So congratulations, and we're looking forward to more of these documentaries.
Thank you all. Thank you all for participating. Thank to all of you who are also following us on social media. Please stay safe, and we'll see you next time. We have another PBBI event, a full week of a symposium called Filaments of the Atlantic Heritage, starting on the 18th and ending on the 24th with 2 sessions per day. Again, thank you all. Take care and stay safe. We love you all. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you all. Muito obrigado. Thank you.